Hey, Mike with D2D Millionaire here. And are you sick of getting the I need to talk to my spouse objection and not really knowing what to do? Well, today's video, we're going to cover 3 things you need to do when you encounter this concern or objection and how to sometimes even avoid it to begin with, so stay tuned. Now, you're going to hear this objection time and time again while you're selling door to door, so I guess get used to it. But at the same time, when handled properly, it can lead to a lot more sales and sometimes even avoiding this objection or concern altogether when you approach it the right way. So, like I said, in today's video, we're going to cover 3 things you need to do when you encounter this objection or how to avoid it. And so the first thing that you want to do is that you want to make sure that you aren't revealing the price to a non-decision maker. You know, we'd like to say that price isn't the only thing we care about when we buy something, but more often than not, when you reveal the price to a non-decision maker, when it gets back to the decision maker, they're going to end up making a decision on price alone. And that's really one of the worst ways to make a buying decision, because sure, price is certainly a factor, but at the same time, if you don't fully understand the value behind something, it's going to make it hard to actually purchase that and understand the value behind it. So not revealing the price to a non-decision maker is really the foundation to this strategy of dealing with I want to talk to my spouse concern and objection. So some ways that you can avoid that: if you absolutely have to reveal the price, make it more vague, make it really general. Again, not that you're trying to hide it, but more so the fact that without talking to the decision maker and really building that full value behind your product and service, it's not very likely that they're going to buy. So if you're talking to a non-decision maker, try and keep things vague and give like a wide window, because that can create curiosity when the decision maker actually hears about it. So again, you might say something along the lines of, well, how much is it? Really depends on the square footage of your home, what products and services you decide to go with us, at what level. So that could range really from $50 to $400. So it really depends on what you go with. So we can certainly cover those options when we get together with your spouse to explain things further. Right? And so in that example, you kind of give a large window. So if the person does try and explain things, they're going to have to say, well, they said it could range from $50 to $400, or again, whatever the case might be. And that can help develop curiosity for that decision maker. Why would there be such a window? How is it going to depend? I want to find out more about this. And then again, that can lead to that follow-up appointment. So ideally, don't reveal the price, but beyond that, really the second step is going to be making sure that you're actually talking to the decision maker. So there's some different ways to do that. You can schedule a follow-up appointment with the person you're talking to. You can bring that up initially. So you might say things along the lines of, are you the person that makes decision on pest control in your home, or is that your spouse? Or, does your spouse generally handle landscaping for the home, or are you in charge of that? So it's just a general question, seeing if they, can make that decision, if they happen to be the decision maker. And it's totally fine if they default to, oh yeah, my husband usually does that, my wife usually does that, my spouse does that, my girlfriend, boyfriend does that, right? Whatever the case might be, if they default to that other person, that's fine. Then you just want to suggest a time where you can follow up with everybody. Be like, hey, I get it, I totally understand. When would be a good time that we could follow up and run through the information for them, so you guys can make that decision together? Would it work better for me to come back tonight or follow up with you tomorrow? So again, you can lead to that next appointment where everyone can get all the facts and be able to make that decision together. Because if that's how they make decisions as a couple, respect that. And then just take advantage of that opportunity to share it with both of them versus trying to explain it to just one person that actually isn't the decision maker. Where again, in door-to-door sales, time is money. So the more time you spend with unqualified potential customers, the more money, more time you're wasting. So if somebody isn't a decision maker, you don't want to go through your whole sales pitch, your whole value build, go through the closing process only to at the end have them say, oh, well, I need to talk to my spouse, because then that was kind of just a big waste of time. Where again, you could have just neutralized that in the beginning and just said something along the lines, are you the decision maker on this, or do you and your spouse make decisions like this together, or is that something that's your department? So again, you could eliminate that whole scenario of going through everything and then having to set another appointment, where you could initially just have set that second appointment and saved a lot of time, saved a lot of energy, and gotten better results. The third thing that you want to do is when you actually get to that appointment with the spouse or that second appointment is don't make the assumption that they're already on board or they already understand everything. Go through the normal process that you normally would with a brand new potential customer. Obviously it's helpful to have the other spouse on board where they might be excited about what you're selling, your offer, your service. They might already be sold, but don't assume that the new spouse that you're talking to is. So you're still going to want to go through that initial greeting, qualifying them, going through the value build so they fully understand your products, your services, the advantages of getting started with you, and more. Because again, if you try and fully avoid that and just think you're saving yourself time that's already established, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, where a lot of times that person has their guard up just as much as a brand new potential customer you're talking to. They haven't been pre-sold. Maybe they've gotten misinformation from their spouse. So again, you want to go through that full normal process that you would, but then also throughout it, you can talk about how the first spouse you talk to is already on board. Or, when I was talking to your wife earlier, she was really excited about our service because of blank. Or when I was talking to your husband earlier, he was excited about our lawn care for this, this, and this. So as you're talking with that second spouse, you can plant those seeds of how the first spouse was excited about your offer, your products and services, and it'll really help them make that decision in favor of buying from you. Because if they know that one spouse is on board, it's a lot easier for them to be on board as well. So you can kind of name drop in that sense of, hey, here's why your spouse is excited about this, for this, this, and this. What do you like about it, right? And so when you follow those 3 steps, not revealing the price to a non-decision maker, making sure that you are setting up a separate time to actually talk with both parties, and avoiding going through a value build with someone that's not a decision maker, and then finally making sure that you go through the full process once you get to that second appointment. It's going to lead to a lot better results and more sales to either help you avoid the I need to talk to my spouse concern in general, or get better results when you do encounter that concern. So again, hopefully you got some benefit and value out of this video. If you did, feel free to comment and share and subscribe to our channel to get the latest door-to-door sales tips and training. And then also, if you'd like to consider working with our team, we're expanding, we're hiring, looking for some new leaders to work with in our organization. So if you feel like that could be you, definitely head on over to d2dmillionaire.com/work with D2D and just fill out that application there, and one of our team members will get back to you and see if it could be a fit working with us in our organization. So again, head on over to d2dmillionaire.com/work with D2D to check that out. But once again, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you more soon.